Welcome to my presentation on meningitis. Here's what we're going to cover today. Meningitis is the inflammation of the leptomeninges, which are the two inner membranes around the brain and spinal cord. The meninges are three protective membranes that cover the brain and spinal cord. The outer layer of the meninges is the dura mater, the middle layer is the arachnoid mater, and the inner layer is the pia mater. The last two, the arachnoid and pia maters, are the leptomeninges. Between the leptomeninges, there's a subarachnoid space, which houses cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF. Infection is the most common trigger for meningitis across all age groups. You could have bacterial infection like Neisseria meningitis and Streptococcus pneumonia, or a viral infection like herpes or Coxsackie. There's also the fungi, like those of the Cryptococcus and Coccidides genus, which mainly affect immunocompromised adults. And then, of course, there's a tubercular meningitis, is caused by the Mycobacterium tuberculosis bacteria. And finally, parasitic causes of meningitis like P. falciparum, which is the main cause of malaria. Meningitis can also be caused by an autoimmune disease like lupus or adverse reaction to some medication, which can happen with intrathecal therapy when the medication is injected directly into the CSF. There are two routes that an infection can take to reach the CSF and the leptomeninges. The first way is direct spread, which is when a pathogen gets inside the skull or spinal column and then penetrates the meninges, eventually ending up in the CSF. Sometimes the pathogen will have to come up through the overlaying skin or up through the nose, but it's more likely that there's an anatomical defect to blame, like a skull fracture. The second way is hematogenous spread, which is when a pathogen enters the bloodstream and moves through the endothelial cells in the blood vessels, making up the blood-brain barrier, and gets into the CSF. Once the pathogen finds its way into the CSF, it can start multiplying. The handful of white blood cells surveilling the CSF identify the pathogen and release cytokines to recruit additional immune cells. The additional immune cells attract more fluid to the area and start causing local destruction and inflammation as they try to control the infection. As a result, CSF pressure typically rises above normal, the glucose concentration in the CSF falls, and the protein levels increase.
Created using Powtoon.